everyone. This is Coach Lauren. Welcome back. Thank you for being here today. We're going to dive into a very important topic on why stress tends to impact women more than men and how that connects to hormones, metabolism, gut health, and even autoimmune conditions. This is not to say men are not impacted by stress as well. We're just focusing on the experience of women for today. So, ladies, if you've ever felt like stress affects your energy, sleep, weight, or mood more intensely, you're not imagining it. There are real biological and hormonal reasons behind this. So, let's dive in. Let's talk about the biology of stress. So, when we experience stress, the body activates something called the HPA axis or the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is a system in our body that regulates cortisol, our primary stress hormone. And research shows that women tend to have a more sensitive HPA axis. They often experience a higher and more prolonged cortisol response to stress when compared to men. This means stress doesn't just happen, it actually sticks around longer in the body as well. On top of that, women's stress response is heavily influenced by hormones like estrogen and progesterone. And these hormones fluctuate throughout life and throughout the menstrual cycle, and they directly interact with cortisol and brain chemistry. So let's talk more about these hormones. This becomes even more important during perimenopause and menopause. So during perimenopause specifically, estrogen and progesterone become more erratic and unpredictable. Progesterone, which has a calming effect, often declines first. And this can lead to increased anxiety, poor sleep, higher cortisol levels, and greater sensitivity to stress. By the time menopause comes, estrogen declines significantly, and the body relies more heavily on the adrenal glands to help regulate these stress hormones. So, if the adrenals are already taxed from chronic stress, women may then start to experience even more significant fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, and sleep disruption as well. And this is why stress can feel much harder to handle in midlife. Let's focus in for a moment on stress and weight loss resistance. I hear this all the time. I'm doing everything right, but I can't lose weight, right? So, chronic stress plays a major role here. Elevated cortisol promotes fat storage, especially in the abdominal area, increases insulin resistance, and triggers cravings for sugar and carbs. It's not just in your head, those cravings for chocolate. Women are particularly sensitive to this because the body perceives stress as a potential threat to reproduction, and it becomes more protective of energy stores. So this is why under eating, over exercising, skipping meals can actually backfire for women or men too, but increasing the stress hormones and making weight loss harder in the long run. Another area that stress impacts us is gut health and autoimmunity. So chronic stress does not just affect hormones, it also greatly impacts the gut and our immune system. Stress can actually alter gut motility, leading to constipation or diarrhea, or both. It can disrupt the gut microbiome and increase intestinal permeability, or often referred to as leaky gut. And this matters because about 70% of the immune system is in the gut. So, another key point here is that autoimmune diseases are significantly more common in women, with about 75 to 80% of autoimmune cases occurring in women. So these are conditions like Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus, all more prevalent in women. And chronic stress is believed to contribute by dysregulating the immune system, increasing inflammation, and disrupting the gut barrier. So we're not just talking about stress and mood, this is really whole body health that we're talking about here. Let's talk a little bit more about adrenal dysfunction and that kind of wired but tired feeling we hear about a lot too. So, in functional medicine, we often talk about adrenal dysfunction, sometimes referred to as adrenal fatigue. And this can look like feeling wired but tired, right? You're just awake at night, but you're exhausted at the same time. You might be having energy crashes in the afternoon, needing that nap by, that 3, 4 o'clock time. You may have difficulty falling or staying asleep, and you might be heavily relying on caffeine to get through the day, right? Just sort of making that whole process worse. And just that overall sense of burnout. Over time, the body may shift from high cortisol to dysregulated or even low cortisol patterns as well. And this contributes again to really significant fatigue, that hormonal imbalance, and just overall poor stress resilience. All that being said, ladies and gentlemen, too, let's talk about what we can do. So, the good news is that there are powerful ways to support your body. I would say number one is to balance blood sugar. So, we can do that by eating regular meals with 20 to 30 grams of protein per serving. Avoid skipping meals. Try and eat every 3 to 4 hours. And always pairing carbs with protein and healthy fats. Stable blood sugar helps regulate cortisol. Number two is prioritizing sleep. So we want to aim for 7 to 9 hours per night, keep consistent sleep and wake times, and limit screens before bed for at least 1 hour. Sleep is one of the most powerful tools for lowering stress hormones. Number three would be supporting your nervous system. You can do this by deep breathing, walking outdoors, morning sunlight, yoga, or stretching, for example. Even just 5 to 10 minutes can shift your body out of stress mode. Number four, exercise smarter, not harder. Aim to strength train 2 to 3 times per week. Add low intensity movement like walking and avoid excessive high intensity workouts during periods of higher stress. Nourish your body. Number five, remember stress depletes key nutrients like magnesium and B vitamins. So stay consistent on your daily multi with Dr. Libby and think about omega-3 fatty acids as well, whether supplementing or eating wild salmon 1 to 2 times per week would be great. And these nutrients are all critical for mood, hormones, and nervous system regulation as well. Lastly, don't forget about the importance of setting boundaries. I know men do a lot in the household and within families. We appreciate you guys. However, women often take on more emotional labor and those caregiving roles. So protecting your time and energy is not selfish. Remember that. Give yourself grace. It's really essential for your health. You need to fill your cup before you can take care of others well. So, again, ladies, if you feel like stress hits you harder, it is not in your head. It's rooted in real biology, hormones, and physiology. At the end of the day, the goal is not to eliminate stress completely, it's to build resilience and support your body through it. Start small, stay consistent, and over time, you can see meaningful changes in your energy, your mood, and your overall health. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.